So if you've been following our channel for some time, then you know that we love Bad Boy Mowers. We've done lineup videos, we've done individual videos, but something we haven't done yet is give you our top 5 favorite Bad Boy Mowers. Now we love the entire line, start to finish we're big fans, but we had to narrow it down to just 5 that we would pick from. I've got those here today, we're gonna dive into it. So if you see all that orange steel behind me, it's because that is my top 5 Bad Boys for 2025. So if you're interested in the full lineup of these Bad Boy Mowers, we actually have a video out that we did earlier this spring that highlights the entire line of Bad Boys from the Rambler to the top line Rogue. So if you're interested in that, we will link that video down in the description. But today we are listing the top 5 favorites. Now, this is not to say that all the other mowers that Bad Boy sells are options that we don't like. No, these are just ones that we think have great value, offer great specs, and are really great for a lot of different types of people. So we're gonna jump into that right now. Starting at number 1, we're starting all the way down at the baseline with the Bad Boy Rambler. So the first one that I like is the MZ Rambler, and I know this is the entry level, but here's what I like about it. This comes in at a price point of $32.69, which is commonly right at the bottom for zero-turn mowers in the industry, but you are not sacrificing quality when you get into a Rambler. This is the only zero-turn on the market that you can get a 7-gauge steel deck for. So the Rambler, even though it's at the very beginning, is getting that same gauge steel that all the way up until their Maverick HD is getting in their commercial line. So I think that's a really great feature for entry-level residential. They're only gonna come in a 42-inch deck, but like I kind of mentioned with the steel they use, so much of this residential machine has all of those commercial features you see come out as we jump up series. So you'll notice it's got great accessibility. The deck flips up, the seat flips forward, gives you a lot of space to access everything, see everything on the mower. You're also gonna get a rubber grass chute. I love that. On other brands we've seen, you can chip and crack grass chutes super easily when they're plastic, go through maybe 3, 4, 5 of them in a lifetime of your lawnmower, whereas that's gonna stand the test of time being rubber. So this has a 19 horse Briggs & Stratton single cylinder engine. So this is a pretty baseline engine type. This would never be an engine that we'd recommend getting. You always like to have a twin cylinder just for peace of mind. But this is kind of what helps with that price point. As of 2025, they did give you an option with a 22 horse Kohler engine that is twin cylinder that I could have easily stuck in this lineup, but for the sake of price point, that's about $500 more. I wanted to keep it here with this Rambler with the Briggs engine. So transmissions on this are gonna be ZT 2200 transmissions from Hydro Gear, so pretty basic for a lot of residential mowers. But if you are someone in that half-acre up to like maybe 2-acre range, this is a super ideal mower. It's backed by Bad Boy's 2-year warranty, and I just think you get a lot of commercial features, a really tough built machine for paying about the same you would for models that have a stamped deck maybe, that's not even fabricated like this one. So I think there's a lot of value in the Bad Boy Rambler, which is why it's the first mower on my top 5 list. The second mower on my top 5 is what we sell the absolute most of. It's Bad Boy's bread and butter in the residential line, and one that people go crazy for, myself included. It's the Bad Boy ZT Elite. So this ZT Elite is where I think Bad Boy's value really pops out against the competition. So Bad Boy from the ZT Elite and up, this is where I think they are the best bang for buck mower on the entire market. There is a lot of great price points, but when you pair price point with the specs that Bad Boy offers, I'm not sure any other mower brand can touch that, and the ZT Elite is the first one that we see that. So where does that value come in? Where do those specs come in that I'm talking about? Probably most notably is the rubber isolators up front here. So if you get a close look, I can kind of lift up the front end here, and you'll see that absorb the up and down ricochet there. So these are 2 independent steel tubular arms that connect at a pivot point, and what those isolators do is they absorb that up and down bouncing on uneven terrain. So the fact that you're getting some frame suspension on a early residential machine is super unique in the industry. I know FERRIS is gonna give you some frame suspension. Steel that is also kind of under that same line as FERRIS is gonna give you some frame suspension. Toro, you can get their My Ride, but what this does is it keeps it at a super nice price point. So this is a 54-inch cut with a Kohler engine option. The other nice thing is you get to always choose between a Briggs, Kohler, and Kawasaki engine option. But this Kohler comes in at $54.99. So that's gonna consistently be under the value of other comparable zero turns in its range, and you're not sacrificing quality like I talked about. You're getting your frame suspension, you're getting your engine choice, and you're still keeping that 7-gauge steel deck. So it's a really tough built machine. The transmissions on this one are gonna jump to ZT 3100 transmissions as well. A lot of people tell you kind of to start if you're at that mid-level residential size, don't go below a ZT 3100 transmission. You want to get that or above just for overall quality of the transmission and longevity. So you love that this has those ZT 3100 transmissions and you're under $5,500 for a price point. It truly is probably the biggest reason why we sell these ZT Elites to the degree that we do. It's because there's so much value in it, right? All those specs paired with that price point make it almost a no-brainer to consider that ZT Elite. If you got anywhere from 2 acres up to 5 acres, the Elite is a perfect option for you. Bad Boy's also gonna give you 22-inch tall tires on the Elite, so tires that are plenty big for any sort of terrain. My only thing I might change is I kind of like a little bit more of a turf style tire. What I've heard from people who have bought, whether using it commercially or just mowing at home, is that sometimes these, with the aggressive tread that it does have, can damage yards a little bit more than what they've seen in a turf tire. So I think they look cool. I think that they're practical. I don't think they're a bad tire by any means. I just myself prefer a turf tire, especially if there's concerns about tearing up lawn. And now number 3 on my list is where we get into the commercial grade machines. Bad Boy makes great commercial graded machines. I think they're really known for their residential because you see them at Tractor Supply, but I think that their commercial line is very sneaky for one of the better lines out there on the market. And the entry-level one into their commercial realm is the Maverick HD. I really like what the Maverick HD has to offer. You're gonna see that same frame suspension with the rubber isolators, but you're gonna get beefy I-beam framing up front, which I think is a really good thing. I think I-beam is strong. You see them use it in big, heavy dump trailers. I like when it's on zero-turn mowers as well. The HD is gonna be the first one you also see outside of this frame suspension. You're gonna get an air dial seat as well. So you have your dial right here that you can adjust right to your body weight to make it a pretty custom, comfortable ride. So the thing that you would have seen in the Maverick series, which is in between the ZT Elite and the Maverick HD, is you would have seen these isolators also on the rear as well. So you have front and rear suspension on the Maverick HD. Paired with a suspension seat, you're gonna get an incredibly comfortable ride. You're gonna keep that same accessibility that we've seen all up until this point. Again, deck flips forward, seat flips forward as well. You're gonna keep that 7-gauge cutting deck. So the Maverick HD, you can actually get in as small as a 42-inch deck. So that same size as the Rambler, you can get on this Maverick HD, and you can get all the way up to a 60-inch deck, so there is some variability. That 42-inch cut's actually gonna keep you under $8,000 for a price point. So if you're someone that's maybe has a tight fence to fit through, or if you're a commercial cutter who just needs to save space on a trailer, a 42-inch Maverick HD, you keep all the same frame suspension, you keep the engine options, the same transmissions, but being under $8,000 is almost unheard of for a commercial grade machine. This one right here is stepping up to a 60-inch cut with the Kawasaki option. It's a carbureted option. You're gonna be at $83.69. So still a lot of value in that price point. Again, a lot more suspension that other mowers in its class are gonna be able to offer. The same engine options that you'll see in a lot of different brands, and those commercial graded. This has the ZT 3400 transmissions from Hydro Gear. You're coming in at low 8s. That's gonna be a really intriguing number compared to some of the other brands out there. One thing I forgot to mention that starts on the Elite but continues in the Maverick HD is the deeper cutting deck as well. So you can see just how deep this cutting deck ends up being compared to what you see on the Rambler. So you can see, yes, it's got this slope nose front, which adds a little bit more of a tough look to it, but you can see just how much more shallow it is compared to what the ZT Elite and the Maverick HD are giving you. And then flipping up the seat, we can see that same accessibility, but you can now see they're giving you external reservoirs for the transmission fluid. So again, those are ZT 3400 transmissions. I like that you can service both, just very easy. Take off the lid. You have the line on this front side that shows you how full they need to be. Very easy to service, very easy to maintain. The Maverick HD being commercial is also the first mower option that Bad Boy gives you fuel injected options in. So outside of this Kawasaki, you get a Kohler EFI option and a Briggs Vanguard EFI option. So the Kawasaki stays carbureted, but this is the first one that you had those fuel injected choices to choose from. The other cool thing the Maverick HD will do is this is the first one they're gonna give you dual tanks on. So you have 6.5 gallons on this side, 6.5 gallons on this side. It's self-leveling, so it's supposed to drain equally between the two of them. And then you do have 23-inch rear tires as well. So tires, again, get a little bit bigger on the Maverick HD. So this is my third favorite Bad Boy. I just think there's a lot of value in this entry-level model. This is one that we see a lot of homeowners start leaning to if they've got maybe 5 or 6+ acres. Makes it a lot more feasible for a homeowner to buy a Bad Boy when you're not having to pay 10, 11 grand for a commercial grade mower. You're paying low 8s, if not below that, with a 42-inch deck. I just think value is king. So much what we hear about is comfort and value. Those are two huge things people look for in zero-turn mowers. I think Bad Boy nails both of those on the head. You get really great comfort all throughout with the frame and the seat, and the value is gonna be so good. So you might ask yourself, how is Bad Boy's value so good? Do they just run very thin margins? Are we just selling them cheap? How do they do this? Well, basically what Bad Boy does is their whole operation is out of Batesville, Arkansas. They use American-made steel and they're assembled start to finish in Batesville at their headquarters. So what they do from there is they actually ship directly to us dealers. So there's no middleman. Some of the bigger brands will have different factories set up all throughout the nation or different distribution plants, and they'll ship to these plants that then ship to the dealers, and there's freight costs and there's things in between that we have to account for. With Bad Boy just shipping directly to the dealer, that eliminates that cost for a middleman and saves on that price point, which makes it very competitive. So that's kind of give you a sneak peek into how Bad Boy consistently gets ahead of the price point game to some of the competitors and gives you a glimpse into what helps them become such a great bang for buck brand without sacrificing overall quality. Number 4 on my list for Bad Boy is one that's brand new to 2025. It is the Revolt X. I really like their Revolt series. I really love their SDs. You can get as small as a 34-inch deck. I was very tempted to put that one on there because I think it's just super ideal for small gateways and back properties. All that being said, I was super tempted to put that in here, but I think the Revolt X, being new to this year, learning about it a little bit more and what it has to offer, I think this is a really practical option for a stand-on mower at the commercial side. So you'll notice right off the front, you've got a really robust frame here with that I-beam framing that comes around. It's gonna have that 3-gauge steel deck, okay? So this is gonna be the thickest deck in the industry. What you see on that Revolt X and Rogue series in Bad Boy, they give it on their Revolt X as well. And you're still gonna get big block engine options. So you have this Kawasaki 38.5 horse fuel injected engine option on it, and you're gonna get the same transmission setup that they put on their Rogue that people really, really like. It's kind of that old style transmission setup. So on their Revel and Revel X series, specifically the Revel X and then their Revolt X, something that Bad Boy did new to 2025 is they gave you Kawasaki fuel injected options. Before, if you wanted fuel injection, you had to get the Briggs Vanguard, which is a fine engine, but a lot of people prefer that Kawasaki. It's known for being super dependable, super premium, and so they listened to their buyers and they gave you options. So this Revolt, the standard Revolt stand-on, didn't have quite this degree of a fuel injected option in years past. As for the transmissions, they're similar to what you find on the Rogue. The Rogue's gonna have 16cc hydro gear wheel pumps and 18 CI Parker wheel motors. This Revolt X is gonna have those same 16cc separate, okay? The Revolt X is gonna have those same 16cc hydro gear wheel pumps, but they're also giving you 18 CI hydro gear wheel motors. So they're enclosed on the back here, and we can take a look at kind of how those are set up. So super easy to access the transmission setup. You just have to unscrew 2 nuts on the end here, and then you can just lift up and pull straight off, and then you have your setup right here. So you can see you have the wheel pumps and wheel motors in there side by side. So kind of that old style setup that the Rogue is really known for. A lot of other mower brands will use this same setup, but really great when you get to top end commercial. A bit easier to service, very open and very easy to see everything. The other thing they have is this unique battery. It's an anti-gravity battery. So this anti-gravity battery is a lithium-ion battery. It's supposed to be longer lasting than the standard batteries they have been putting in stand-ons and zero turns. And so it's kind of cool that they had this in here. It's just a little bit higher tier of a battery option. They also have this restart option. So what's that supposed to do is it's kind of like if you have a dead battery or if it's super low on charge, you can restart it and it kind of jumps itself almost, from my understanding, which helps it so that you don't get stranded in certain situations with low battery or potentially dead battery. So that's just a nice thing they're putting in this. That's kind of cool that I'm sure they'll be rolling out to a lot of other options in their line. But that's kind of the basic of the setup for the Revolt X. You can see as well, you have these stand-on pads here. So in case you're riding on a hillside, you need to lean. It's super easy. You have that option on both sides there. Again, you have dual tanks on either side of it here. And then these have 24-inch rear tires as well. So again, a little bit bigger than the Maverick HD. I believe that's the same size that the standard Rebel and Rebel X has. So really great option, really great machine. Again, just super durable with that 3-gauge steel deck. I love that you get the Kawasaki fuel injected option. I really like this transmission setup. Price point on this comes in at $11,799. The other option you can get that jumps that price above $12 is they do offer rear tweels as a standard. So you can get rear tweels and then you'll be probably low to mid 12s. I think it's somewhere around 12.6 is where that price point sits at. So they do have a rear tweel option, which is nice. Let us know in the comments, are you someone that has tweels? What do you think of them? We're kind of back and forth on the tweels. We probably find ourselves leaning a little bit more towards traditional tires, but I think there's a lot of value in the tweels. So let us know what you think in the comments. We're always curious to kind of see what the community thinks. And then finally, number 5 on my list, you guys probably could have guessed it. It's the big kahuna. It's the granddaddy of them all. It's the Bad Boy Rogue. So the Rogue is probably one of our favorite, if not the favorite mower that Bad Boy puts out. If you've watched our videos, you know how much Matt loves the Bad Boy Rogue. At the time of filming this, he actually just filming and has probably published a video calling the Rogue a potential FERRIS killer. FERRIS is known for being one of the most premium commercial mowers you can buy with great frame suspension and ride like no other. And he makes the case for the Rogue maybe being better than the FERRIS. That's a video that's out right now if you want to check it out. So we'll link that in our description as well. But the Rogue is one step below Bad Boy's top tier. They do make a Renegade. That's where you get a horizontal shaft engine option, or you can get it in diesel. They have a Perkins diesel engine on it as well. So the Rogue is one step below the very top line, but like we've seen all throughout, this is just a stout machine. You're gonna have the 3-gauge steel deck on the front. You can see you have the same independent arms, but they're much more robust. You have that same front suspension. You can see just how thick the steel is around the wheels there. They're run flat tires, so you don't have to worry about them popping. You have that rubber grass chute as well, and the Rogue just looks tough. It's a machine that packs a punch. It's gonna have great accessibility. You can see the deck flips up. To get full access, you do need to unscrew this piece right here. That air dial seat, again, that flips up and shows you its great accessibility. So you can see it's got the separate, these are the Hydro Gear wheel pumps. You have the Parker wheel motors right here. The one thing I actually should have mentioned on the Maverick HD that now that I'm looking at the Rogue I can see is they give you a rear striping flap. So if you look right down, there's a deck mounted flap for striping your lawn. So that actually has adjustable heights where you can drop it a couple of inches to really determine what level you need it at for wherever you're gonna cut your grass at. But kind of nice you get a stripe kit there on standard. You're gonna see all that suspension as well find its way all throughout the machine. So you have these rubber pucks right underneath the seat, and then underneath them, you have another set of those isolators that you see on the front of the Rogue as well. So the suspension doesn't just end under the seat. They take it one step further and they give you a 3-link trailing arm system on the back side of the machine as well, kind of in between the wheelbase. So that's something you see commonly on ATVs that help with ride comfort. They implement it here on their Rogue. So you're gonna get premium suspension front to back on this Bad Boy Rogue. And interestingly enough, we see a lot of people come in here with a certain price point in mind. You kind of know how the shopping experience goes. You start with a certain price point in mind, and by the end of it, you are well over that price point. You're well over that budget, just with how sometimes things play out. The Rogue is one that we see a lot of people come in shopping for mowers. They have a specific price point in mind. Maybe they're on the Maverick HD, and they take one ride All it takes is one ride on the Bad Boy Rogue, and that price point suddenly doesn't seem as dramatic when you feel all that the Rogue can offer. This is one that we were pleasantly surprised by when we picked up Bad Boy, how many homeowners were buying the Rogue. And big reason for that is, again, that price point. So on this, you get the 38.5 horse Kawasaki fuel injected engine. Again, this is carbureted. I'll give you the fuel injected price first. The 38.5 horse fuel injected engine with the 61-inch cut comes in at $12,399. That is gonna be well under, we commonly see $1,000 to $2,000 below the competition. And I know people have their brands that they grew up using or they've used for years and years and swear by, and you write off a brand like Bad Boy. What I would challenge you, for those people in the comments that talk about how Bad Boy doesn't touch these other brands, maybe they're a little bit junky, they're cheap, this and that. Go to a dealer if you have one near you, ride a Bad Boy Rogue, and then jump back in those comments and tell us if you think the same things, because I promise you, you will be pleasantly surprised by the Bad Boy Rogue. As for the price point of this specific model, again, this has a 35 horse Kawasaki carbureted engine. This is at $11,899, so about $500 below where the fuel injected option is, but still a great value. For under 12 grand, you're getting a top line commercial mower, which a lot of other brands, you're not gonna be able to get below $15,000, $16,000 in their top line models. So you've heard me say it all throughout this video. If there's one thing I want you to take about my top 5, it's that each of these different versions, each of these different series packs value. Value is important to me as someone who wants to always get the most out of my purchase. I view everything as an investment, and I want to make sure I get value out of my investment. And what I've seen in the last 2 years is Bad Boy, time and time again, packing in value at each level they give. Gas tank's gonna stay 6.5, so you keep that 13-gallon capacity. And then those tires jump up to 26-inch rear tires, so pretty big compared to what you see on the market. 2-year warranty on this machine, unlimited hours. That's something unique about Bad Boy. From the Rambler all the way to the top line Rogue, it's gonna stay at 2 years. And I know some people initially might think, well, that's not a great warranty if you're getting the same warranty for a Rogue that you get for their baseline residential. Where's the jump in it? Well, with it being unlimited hours in commercial, it actually matches a lot of those other brands that will maybe throw 3, 4, 5 years at you, but there's maybe a caveat that there's a 2-year unlimited hour warranty, or maybe it's 4 years or 1,250 hours, whichever comes first. That could end up being about a 2-year warranty. I know my commercial cutters know what I'm talking about. So when it's 2 years unlimited hours, that's really beneficial if you are a commercial cutter, knowing that you can go well over what some other brands would put as the hour limit on a Bad Boy, and you're not gonna lose your warranty after maybe a year, year and a half. You're gonna get that full 2-year coverage. So there you have it. Those are our top 5 favorite Bad Boy mowers. So again, that's not to downplay the rest of their line. We love what Bad Boy has to offer start to finish. These are just 5 that I think stand out to us as really great options for both homeowners and commercial customers alike. Now, are we biased because we sell Bad Boy? Yes, okay, maybe to a certain degree we are biased, but at the same time, we like to post videos about a bunch of other brands as well, praising those other brands, highlighting those other brands. So make sure you stay tuned to our channel if you're just a mower enthusiast overall, or if you're looking for help making a wise buying decision. We try to be very impartial for the most part. Again, we do love Bad Boy, and give you just the straight facts about everything zero-turn mowers. So we've got a lot of great videos all over our channel. Make sure you check us out. If you like the content, drop a like on this. Dropping a like lets us know what direction to go with these videos. The more likes we get, the easier it is to tell what style of video you guys are really, really liking. And then as always, subscribe. We do really appreciate you guys subscribing. It helps us out as a channel to grow. Again, being here in Jackson, Michigan, our biggest motivation for this channel is just to give you guys great information and have a fun time while doing it. So thank you guys for watching. And until the next time, take it easy.